there, this is S.J. Thomason. Dr. Michael Brown and Rabbi Tovia Singer have something in common. They were both raised in Jewish faith. However, in his late teens, Dr. Michael Brown came to Christianity. He considers himself a Messianic Jew. Rabbi Tovia Singer has been preaching quite a while for Judaism. He's a Jew for Judaism, whereas Michael Brown is a Jew for Jesus. Now, this is a really interesting debate that they had back in the early 1990s. This is the only time Rabbi Tovia Singer was willing to debate Dr. Michael Brown. Dr. Brown leveled him. Okay, and what they're going to speak a little bit about is this. You tell me where some of this comes from. Now, I'm going to talk first about a precursor verse, because this verse was written about 1,000 years before Jesus came to the planet and became flesh and dwelt among us. Many bulls surround me, strong bulls of Bashan encircle me, roaring lions that tear their prey, upon their mouths wide against me. I am poured out like water. All my bones are out of joint. My heart has turned to wax. It is melted within me. My mouth is dried up like potsherd, and my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You lay me in the dust of death. Dogs surround me. A pack of villains encircles me. They pierce my hands and my feet. Who is this referring to? Well, of course, this is the Messiah, the suffering servant, the one also who was pierced for our transgressions and crushed for our iniquities. He took on the sins. He is the sinless Paschal Lamb. We also know from Isaiah 53 that he had been prophesied about 700 years as well before he came to the earth and dwelt among us. We also know from Daniel 9 that Jesus was going to come at the particular time that he arrived. We know that rabbis pontificated about the two different types of messiahs in the Sanhedrin 97 and 98a. In one of them, they knew the timing that Jesus should arrive, which was specifically when he did arrive, which is one of the reasons why King Herod was looking for a baby infant at that time. He'd seen something in the stars. We also know that Jesus presented himself on Monday of the Passion Week as the Paschal Lamb. But here's some more information that maybe you don't know. So let's listen to Dr. Michael Brown and Rabbi Tovia Singer go back and forth.
Let's remember that the Messiah is the representation of his people. In other words, the Messiah is the head, the chief of his people. So that there are certain similarities between what the Messiah does and what happens to the people. We are united, in the Messiah as one. But the fact of the matter is, and as I said, I was baffled to hear him say this, there are many Jewish interpreters, including rabbis I've talked to in Brooklyn, who say, yes, this is a prophecy of the Messiah, King David.
Now, can you see in Isaiah 53, I just want to ask this one question, I'll let you respond. Can you see in Isaiah 53 how a Orthodox rabbi might construe that it is Israel or a righteous remnant within Israel, and why that might be wrong?
Sure. Naturally, I read the scriptures, and I believe I'm understanding them correctly. And I believe that a rabbi is reading them through colored glasses. Of course, that's what a rabbi told me, that he's reading it accurately, and I'm reading it through colored glasses. The fact of the matter is, we both have reasons for our interpretation, and we categorically disagree with each other. Many times in the book of Isaiah, where it speaks of the servant of the Lord, it's referring to the people as a whole. Sometimes it's referring to a remnant of the people. Other passages, like Isaiah 49, where it speaks of Israel initially, then it says that the role of this servant is to regather Israel. So in other words, this is speaking about an Israel or a servant or a seed within the nation as a whole. So he might say, well, the servant of the Lord in many of the passages and in the context is often Israel. That's why I see it as referring to Israel. And look, the fact is we've suffered, we've been abused, we've been rejected, etc., etc. However, it can't work. You go through verse by verse. It cannot work for the people as a whole.
Give me one example.
Well, one example is, according to the Torah, the people as a whole, if they were obedient, if they lived in accordance with the scriptures, they would be blessed. They would be the highest of all the nations. They would not come under any of the covenant curses. In other words, the people as a whole could not suffer what the servant of the Lord suffers here if they were righteous, and yet the servant is righteous. Also, Israel has suffered for its own sins, not for the sins of the nations, nor has Israel's suffering brought healing to the nations. For example, Israel suffered at the hands of the Assyrians. The Assyrians overdid the punishment. What happened to Assyria? They're gone. Israel, the Jewish people, suffered at the hands of the Babylonians. The Babylonians overdid the punishment. What happened to them? They're gone. Israel suffered at the hands of the Greeks. That empire is gone. At the hands of the Romans, that empire is gone. So it hasn't brought
Let's
healing.
get a response now from Rabbi Tovia Singer.
Okay, so I wanted to just point out some of the things that he's referring to and what exactly this verse says. It says, "Who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him." That specifically cannot refer to a group of people, because the Jewish people, many of them are very beautiful. Okay, the Jewish land, Israel, is beautiful. Okay, so that can't refer to either. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held them in low esteem. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. A pastor read that to me once on a plane when I had been praying to God to give me some signs, and I immediately understood that that was Jesus. So did early Jews. So did the Jews of the ancient times. They understood that this referred to the Messiah, the suffering servant. Again, refer to Zechariah 9:9, where we know that there was going to be a humble servant. We also know a different type of Messiah emerged from Daniel 7. He'd be coming in the clouds of heaven at the right hand of the Mighty One. We also know his specific timing, as I've mentioned before, with Daniel 9. So let's see what else Rabbi Tovia Singer has to say to respond to this.
First of all, I'm going to ask Mike after the show if he cannot find even one writing anywhere where Isaiah 53 is talking about the Messiah, the son of David. Will he drop his messianic stuff? That's first of all. Second,
what's interesting is after this show, Dr. Brown came up with a number of different rabbis who had agreed that this is the son of David, referred to in Isaiah 53. And then Rabbi Tovia Singer was supposed to convert, as he had promised, to Messianic Judaism. However, he decided not to do that. He's retained his Jews for Judaism feeling, but let's keep going.
Let's take a look at the moving portrait of the Holocaust again. We have a mother with...
This is what you call this is what you call the red herring approach. So Rabbi Tovia Singer realizes that he can't counter what's said in Isaiah 53, so he draws upon the Holocaust to try to stir the emotions of anyone who's listening. Of course, we know the Holocaust was an egregious event that took place, as you know, in the 1940s. Horrific. We want to see history never repeat itself there. But this is, again, a red herring that is getting him away from Isaiah 53.
With her infant walking into the gas chamber. Now, that little infant is clutched to that woman's breast, and she sits over there waiting for these supposed showers to go on, and gas comes in. I want to ask Mike Brown, I want to ask every Christian, every Jew out there, what sin did that little baby commit? Indeed, God gave permission. Yes, Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26 talks about curses that will come upon the Jewish people, and yes, we have sinned. But the Gentile nations have gone too far, and God is very angry with them.
Okay, so this is his red herring response. So I hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. Please like, subscribe, and do choose to come again. And whatever you do, whether you eat, drink, or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. Thank you.